Hello guys, welcome back my YouTube channel. Today I will telling about top 5 ultra rare USA Washington quarter dollar coin from America. Liberty. The 1970 Washington quarter is one of the most interesting coins from the United States, especially for collectors who enjoy learning about hidden varieties, minting history, and the changing value of American coinage. Even though the 1970 quarter is a modern coin and millions were made, certain factors like condition, mint mark, and rare errors can make it far more valuable than its face value of 25 cents. For collectors, this coin stands as a reminder of America's transition from the silver era to the modern copper-nickel coinage that began in 1965. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The design features the familiar profile of Washington on the obverse created by sculptor John Flanagan, and the majestic eagle on the reverse, which remained part of the design until the state quarters program started in 1999. By the year 1970, the quarter was being made with a copper-nickel clad composition, consisting of a pure copper core coated with layers of nickel. This new composition was introduced to replace the 90% silver coins which had become too expensive to mint as silver prices rose. During 1970, the United States Mint produced Washington quarters at 3 locations: Philadelphia, which used no mint mark, Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, which produced proof coins with the S mark. More than 136 million quarters were minted in Philadelphia and over 417 million in Denver, so the regular coins from these locations are common in circulation. The San Francisco Mint produced around 2.6 million proof coins, which were made with extra care and have mirror-like surfaces. These proof coins were never intended for general use and are usually found in collector sets. Most 1970 quarters are worth only their face value if they are worn, but collectors pay higher prices for well-preserved examples. A shiny, uncirculated 1970 quarter graded MS-65 can be worth a few dollars, while a high-grade MS-67 example may sell for $100 or more depending on demand. Proof coins graded PR69 or PR70 can also bring higher value, especially if they have deep cameo contrast point. One of the most famous reasons the 1970 quarter attracts attention is because of its rare error varieties. The most legendary is the 1970 S-proof quarter struck on a 1941 Canadian silver coin, a minting mistake that happened when an old foreign planchet was accidentally used. This error coin sold for more than $35,000 at auction and remains one of the rarest and most valuable modern quarters ever discovered. While such errors are extremely rare, they inspire collectors to check their 1970 coins carefully. For most people, the 1970 Washington quarter is a common coin, but for collectors, it carries historical significance and exciting possibilities. It represents a time of major change in American coin production and continues to spark interest due to its rare and valuable error varieties. Whether found in pocket change or kept in a coin collection, the 1970 quarter remains an important piece of American numismatic history. Next coin. The 1980 Washington quarter is a coin that many people have handled without realizing that it carries an important place in American numismatic history. This coin represents a period of transition in the United States Mint, reflecting the country's economic conditions, the change in metal composition, and the long-standing legacy of George Washington's portrait on U.S. circulating coinage. Even though the 1980 quarter is common in everyday circulation, collectors often search for high-grade examples, unique mint errors, and well-preserved pieces that can carry much higher value than face value. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design by John Flanagan became iconic and remained unchanged for many years. The obverse of the 1980 quarter features the classic portrait of America's first president, facing left, with the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the mint year 1980 at the bottom. On the reverse is the American eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and readiness. The olive branches below represent peace, completing the powerful symbolism of this popular coin. By 1980, the United States Mint was producing quarters using a copper-nickel clad composition. Earlier quarters minted before 1965 contained 90% silver, but due to rising silver prices and economic pressure, the mint changed to the current copper-nickel formula. This means that the 1980 Washington quarter contains no silver, making its base metal value equal to its face value. However, the true value of this coin for collectors comes from condition, rarity of mint marks, and special errors. The 1980 quarter was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with the D mint mark, and San Francisco with the S mint mark for proof coins. Philadelphia and Denver quarters were produced in the hundreds of millions, making them extremely common. San Francisco proofs, however, were made specifically for collectors and are valued higher when they are still in their original mirror finish condition. In circulated condition, most 1980 quarters are worth 25 cents. But the story changes when the coin is found in uncirculated or mint state condition. High-grade coins, especially those graded MS 65 or above, can sell for a few dollars, while top-tier examples with grades MS 67 or higher can reach into the tens or even hundreds of dollars depending on collector demand. Proof coins from San Francisco can also be worth a few dollars or more, especially if they are free from scratches and maintain their deep cameo contrast. Collectors also look for rare minting errors. Some of the most valuable errors include off-center strikes, broad strikes, double dies, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. These errors can dramatically increase the value, sometimes reaching over $100 or more depending on the type and visibility of the mistake. The 1980 Washington quarter remains an interesting collectible because it combines history, patriotic imagery, and affordability. It's a perfect entry-level coin for new collectors while still offering opportunities for seasoned numismatists to hunt for high-grade examples and rare errors. Finding a well-preserved 1980 quarter can be surprisingly rewarding, and it reminds us that even the simplest pocket change can hold hidden value. Next coin. The 1983 Washington quarter from the United States of America is one of the most interesting coins of the modern era, not because of silver content, but because of its rarity in high grade. Many collectors are surprised to learn that the 1983 quarter, a coin that millions of Americans used every day, can actually be worth far more than its face value under the right conditions. This coin carries the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse, a design created by sculptor John Flanagan and first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. The 1983 issue continues that long tradition, and even though it looks ordinary, the story behind its value makes it special. In 1983, the United States Mint produced the quarter using a copper-nickel-clad composition, which means the coin has no silver content. Most people use these coins heavily, and because of that, the majority of 1,983 quarters show signs of circulation, scratches, wear, and loss of luster. Unlike many other years, the Mint did not release mint sets in 1982 and 1983, which is one of the biggest reasons why high-quality 1983 quarters are so hard to find today. Collectors usually depend on mint sets to obtain perfect or near-perfect examples, but without those sets, most surviving coins came from everyday pocket change. This rarity in uncirculated condition is what drives the value upward. For coin collectors, the mint mark plays a key role when evaluating a 1983 quarter. The Philadelphia Mint coins have no mint mark, while the Denver Mint pieces show a small D. Both are common in worn condition, but high-grade examples of either can be extremely valuable. A typical circulated 1983 quarter is usually worth between its face value and a small premium, but the real treasure lies in uncirculated grades. A bright, sharply struck, untouched coin can sell for several dollars, and in the highest grades certified by professional grading services, prices can reach into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Some of the most valuable 1983 quarters known today are graded MS67 or MS68, and because they are so difficult to find, collectors compete strongly to own them. Another interesting aspect of this coin is the 1983 P quarter with a dramatic die crack or other mint errors. Error coins from this year are sought after and can be worth far more than regular examples. Off-center strikes, double dies, and clipped planchets from 1983 sometimes appear in auctions and add even more excitement for collectors searching through their change. For those curious about whether their 1983 quarter is valuable, the condition is everything. A coin with full luster, clean surfaces, and minimal marks stands out immediately. Even a small upgrade in condition can mean a big increase in value, especially compared to other modern quarters. Because so few high-grade coins survived, any well-preserved example is worth holding onto. The 1983 Washington quarter may look like an ordinary coin from a regular year, but its scarcity in top condition, its history, and the absence of mint sets from that time make it a surprising collectible. For anyone lucky enough to find a sharp, uncirculated example, it can be a rewarding discovery and a reminder that even the common coins in our pockets can hold hidden value. Next coin. The 1986 Washington quarter from the United States of America is one of the most collected modern coins, appreciated both for its history and its role in American everyday life. Although billions of Washington quarters have been minted since the design first appeared in 1932, each year carries its own story, and the 1986 quarter stands out as a piece that reflects the nation's economic era, its minting evolution, and the lasting legacy of George Washington on U.S. coinage. For many collectors, this coin represents an affordable and accessible window into American numismatic history. The obverse of the 1986 Washington quarter features the classic portrait of George Washington designed by John Flanagan. His profile faces left, with the inscriptions, "Liberty," at the top and, "In God We Trust," positioned to the left of the bust. The date 1986 appears at the bottom. Even though this portrait was created over 90 years ago, it remains one of the most recognizable images on American coins and celebrates the leadership and legacy of the first President of the United States. The mint mark, which can be found on the right side of the bust, indicates whether the coin was struck at Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. On the reverse, the quarter carries the familiar eagle design that had been used for decades until the state quarters program began in 1999. The eagle stands proudly with outstretched wings, clutching a bundle of arrows symbolizing strength and preparedness, while olive branches beneath represent peace. The inscriptions, "United States of America, E Pluribus Unum," and "$quarter," complete the design. This reverse is admired for its simplicity and traditional American symbolism. The 1986 quarter is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This material replaced the 90% silver composition in 1965, making the quarter far more affordable to produce. By 1986, the clad quarter had become the standard circulating version across the country. In terms of value, most circulated 1986 Washington quarters are worth their face value of 25 cents, as millions were minted and most remain common today. However, collectors often look for well-preserved examples, and coins in uncirculated condition can carry higher value. A typical uncirculated 1986 quarter from Philadelphia or Denver may be worth between $1 and $3 depending on its luster and sharpness. Coins with full detail, strong strike quality, and minimal marks can command even more. The San Francisco Mint also produced proof versions made specifically for collectors. These proofs, with their mirror-like surfaces and frosted designs, usually sell for around $5 to $10, with particularly pristine examples worth more. While the 1986 quarter is not considered rare, it holds an important place in U.S. coinage history. It represents the final years before major design changes and the rise of modern commemorative programs. For new collectors, it is an excellent starting point because it is affordable, easy to find, and showcases the traditional Washington and eagle designs that defined American quarters for much of the 20th century. Collecting this coin allows enthusiasts to preserve a small but meaningful part of the nation's numismatic heritage. Next coin. The 1995 Washington $quarter from the United States of America is one of the modern coins that many collectors love to study because of its history, design, and potential value. Although it is a common circulation coin, it carries decades of legacy from the long-running Washington quarter series. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birth anniversary of George Washington, the first President of the United States, and it has remained an important part of American coinage ever since. The 1995 issue continues this classic tradition and represents the final years before the major design change that came with the 1999 state quarters program. On the obverse side of the 1995 quarter, you will see the familiar portrait of George Washington designed by sculptor John Flanagan. His profile faces left, with the inscriptions, "Liberty, In God We Trust," and the year 1995. Depending on the mint location, the coin carries either a P mint mark for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. The Philadelphia and Denver coins were made for daily circulation, while the San Francisco Mint struck special proof versions for collectors. This portrait had been used on quarters for more than 6 decades, making this coin part of one of the most iconic series in U.S. history. The reverse side features the classic heraldic eagle, another design by Flanagan. The eagle is shown with wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows that symbolize strength and readiness to defend the nation. Below the arrows are olive branches, representing peace. The inscriptions, United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter, complete the reverse design. This eagle reverse was used from 1932 until 1998, meaning the 1995 quarter is among the last few years of this legendary design before it was replaced by the state quarter series. In terms of value, most 1995 quarters found in regular pocket change are worth only their face value of 25 cents because millions were minted and they remain common. However, collectors pay attention to condition, mint mark, and special varieties. A 1995 quarter in uncirculated condition, especially one graded by a professional service, can be worth more. For example, a high-grade 1995 P or 1995 D quarter can sell for a few dollars, and in extremely high mint state grades such as MS 66 or MS 67, the value can rise significantly. The San Francisco proof coins hold greater value, especially the 1995 S silver proof version, which contains real silver. These silver proofs can be worth several dollars depending on condition and demand. Error coins from 1995 can also attract collectors. Off-center strikes, double-die errors, and missing clad layer coins are rare and can sell for much higher prices depending on severity and eye appeal. Always check unusual coins carefully, as errors can turn a common quarter into a valuable find. Thanks for watching.